Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the next edition of the training camp post report. All right, this serious? Got more time. Boom, we're in it, everybody. All right. So a lot to get to. Obviously, we have a lot to cover this weekend. It's going to be a jam-packed week of content, like I said. So today we're doing a little bit of the post-camp report. Saturday, I do have a 2-round mock draft. Dallas Cowboys, get you guys a little bit more up to date with who the Cowboys might be interested for the 2021 draft. All right, it's never too early. All right, so that one's going to be awesome. That'll come out tomorrow afternoon. All right, and then Sunday we're going to have the blue-white scrimmage post report. All right, so without further ado, guys, let's get into today's post-camp news and notes. All right. Let's talk about these guys. Let's see who's making moves, who's making noise, who's making the move to making this team. All right. Appreciate everybody in the comments, everybody in the chat box. Appreciate all you guys. Hit like on the video before we get started. All right. So here we go. Without further ado, everybody, good to see everybody on this Friday. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Thank God it's Friday, right? We're going to start off the news here talking about a little LC, Lyle Collins. So Dave Hellman, finally, a hero emerges to end Tank's reign of terror. So this says it all. This speaks volumes. You know, Dak Prescott and these quarterbacks have been on the run virtually all camp. You know, all these with Tyron out, Lyle Collins out, even the backup Irvin is out. So these guys are getting back into it. So Lyle Collins made his first appearance here in some teamwork. So very good to see. Very good to see indeed. All right. Will he be ready for the Rams? I think he's on good course here to be ready. All right. He's been in the league for 6 seasons now. And I think he knows where his body's at by now. You know. So speaking of that, they asked him, you know, they asked Lyle Collins, hey, what was the deal here? You know, why what's going on? And still, even today, I still feel like it's a little bit shrouded in mystery, as I said. Michael Gelkin, Cowboys right tackle Lyle Collins said he was dealing with some knick-knack stuff associated with NFL wear and tear for why he didn't participate in team drills until today. Felt like a kid in a candy store being back. I don't feel behind at all. They asked him, do you feel like you're behind? Do you feel like you have to catch up? He said he didn't. He's been in the league 6 seasons and that kind of thing. So, you know, this is what it is. You know, was it conditioning? I think this is kind of a generic type of response by Lyle Collins, but you know, it's definitely something that we don't want to see this happen. You know, the rest of his contract here with the Cowboys. So he's back on the field. That's what's most important, and getting into the groove and that kind of thing. So I think he'll be ready there for the Rams, everybody. So, you know, until now it was kind of a question mark. You know, now the question is going to be, is he going to be in football shape? Okay, you know, there's different levels to this thing. These athletes are supreme elite athletes. So you know, they put their bodies through a grind day in and day out. So Lyle Collins getting back into the mix of things. Very, very good news. I like to see that. I like to see him out there mauling people left and right, you know, doing his thing against DeMarcus Lawrence of all people. So good news there. You know, good news there indeed. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and look at this here. These are some of my, obviously you guys know I like to follow Kyle Yeomans. He is the guy that gives us these little insight, little nuggets during training camp. So some of his notes: Griffin's release is elite. That's awesome. You know, talking about Everson Griffin, right? Dak was surgical in 2-minute drills. That's very good. Coverage was very solid in the red zone. Okay. Good for the defense. I like to hear that. Diggs pushed Gallup around. Okay, so this is something, a reoccurring theme that we're hearing about Trevon Diggs. Bullying people around with his size, his length, his athleticism. So just more of the same from Trayvon Diggs. Offensive line still not completely up to speed, even with starters back. Okay, that's to be expected. Great day for Cedric Wilson. Okay, so Cedric Wilson stacking great practices, not just good, pretty great. He's looking really good out there. I think that, like we did in the last one there, I have him projected as winning that number 4 spot, 5, possibly 6 if they go there deep at wide receiver. So that battle will will shake out possibly this weekend with the blue-white scrimmage, and lots of reps for the young guys. Okay, so lots of good little notes here from Kyle Yeomans. You like what you hear about Trevon Diggs, right? Good news there, man. Good news there. Shout out to Lunatic. Appreciate you, brother. Always coming in the clutch in the chat box. Appreciate everybody that's out in the chat box. We'll cut through these. We'll get through these news and notes, and then we'll talk a little bit further. Take some comments and questions. Speaking of the blue-white scrimmage, this is a question that we get asked a lot. Virtually every stream. So this is coming officially from Derek Eagleton. So this is official. Okay, some people may not know this, but the blue-white scrimmage will be televised locally. There in the DFW area, Arlington, and that area, and it'll be streamed on DallasCowboys.com. Cowboys Mobile, Cowboys Now. If you have a smart TV, get that app. It's really awesome. Cowboys Now is the app. Like if you have a Roku device, Apple TV, or one of these kinds of things, look for that Cowboys app. Okay, that way you can watch it on your TV. It's like you're watching it, on your big screen TV, man. You gotta love it. Facebook, Periscope. Do people still use it? I guess they do. Periscope is still a thing. I kind of thought that Periscope kind of left with the dinosaurs, but it's still being used, and YouTube, obviously. So lots of areas to watch the blue-white scrimmage. Like I said, after the blue-white scrimmage, I will be live here with you guys breaking down the blue-white scrimmage. Make sure you check back then, and we're going to talk about all of it. I'm sure a lot of good nuggets are going to come from this. Some of these guys are looking to clinch some positions here. Some guys that we've been talking about, your Cedric Wilsons, Francis Bernards, these types of players. Okay, who's going to get that 5th, possibly 6th wide receiver if they go that deep? Left guard, I think, is an interesting position. Bradley and it's going to be fun. I can't wait to see this blue-white scrimmage, guys. If you can't wait to see this blue-white scrimmage, hit like on this video. Let me know in the chat box if you're ready for the blue-white scrimmage. I know I am. All right, man. What's Periscope? Yeah, Periscope is it's kind of like a live thing that it was pretty popular. I don't know, 2 years ago. Okay, we got some notes here from Michael Gelkin, everybody. Check this out. I really like these notes here, too. Michael Gelkin always comes into the clutch, and he's got some of this to tell us. All right. Chris Westry. This name is a low-key tongue twister. Chris Westry. Try to say that 3 times. Okay. Shows as much length and coverage as his 6'4" frame would indicate. Michael Gallup had better position on deep pass, but the cornerback jarred the ball loose to force an incompletion. Okay, that's Westry. All right. Did allow TDs later to Cedric Wilson, who looks fully ready for the season, and Trevon Jones. Okay, Trevon Jones, one of these guys, is kind of down the depth chart. Not hearing much about him, but as you can tell, even Chris Westry's making some noise here. Possible, practice squad candidate. I just don't see him making the 53. It's very deep there, but you never know. So Cedric Wilson, as you can tell, still making moves here. Take a look at this here. Further down, we have some more information. Similar to Thursday when Noah Brown made a deep contested catch versus Trayvon Diggs, Brown caught one over the middle. Diggs audibly frustrated. He missed the pass breakup, but later Diggs recorded pass breakup versus Charlie Tamapeo at the same area of the field. Okay, so Trevon Diggs, man, like the thumbnail indicates, is Trevon Diggs ready to start? At this point, with all the good that we're hearing about Trevon Diggs, we hear him kind of outplaying some of these guys that you're kind of hearing that are supposedly may start over him, like Anthony Brown, Daryl Worley, these guys. I wouldn't be surprised if they roll Trayvon Diggs out there week 1 versus the Rams. Okay. Is that too soon? At some point, you do have to start him. I would think that if the Cowboys get the jump early on the Rams, you put him in there. If Trevon Diggs isn't starting against the Rams and we get ahead of them, we build a pretty good lead, go ahead and put him in there and let him go the rest of the season. I mean, Trevon Diggs sounds like the real deal, man. Size, length, bullying people around. And that's what you want, man. What I really like about these reports, everybody, is you're seeing the cornerbacks make plays on the ball. Okay? They're making plays on the ball. They're not making plays on the receiver. That's what we've been seeing the last couple of seasons, where their back is facing, the quarterback, and they're just kind of trying to guess where the ball's going and try to bat it down. Now, they're turning their head back and they're leaping. They're leaping and trying to pass, break up the passes and get interceptions. I do love that. Okay. That's very, very good. And I think that our interception ratio is going to go up significantly this season. All right. Let's get to some more news and notes here, everybody. Got a lot of good stuff coming out of camp today. And this one is all about our boy out of Utah, Francis Bernard. Okay. Linebacker Francis Bernard is highly vocal on the field, showing better command of the defense than would be expected from an undrafted rookie void of spring on-field installation. That's a good point. That's impressive. Had a red zone pass breakup. Also blanketed running back Ezekiel Elliott in coverage down left boundary. Believe he makes the roster. You best believe it. I do believe, and he is another one of my projected winners of the roster. I have Francis Bernard, making this team, and this is just more positive stuff that you're hearing out of Francis Bernard. I'm excited to see how he looks in the blue-white scrimmage. Okay, so Francis Bernard looking the part, looking really good, everybody. So very good news indeed. Very good news indeed. Okay, Francis Bernard. What do you guys think about him? All right. It looks like it's going to be him knocking out Justin March, if it were my guess. Okay. So I think that's where they're going to go there. 6 linebackers. Francis Bernard is going to be one of them. Okay. I don't think they're going to go 7 deep. I think they're going to stick with 6. Francis Bernard. Okay. Looking the part. Got this one here, right? This comes from Kyle Yeomans. All right. The other Utah player on this defense, Bradley Anae. Defensively, Joe Thomas and Bradley Anae each had another good practice. Thomas was a force in run fits, solid in coverage. Anae batted down the ball at the line of scrimmage and was active again in pass rush. Okay. So Joe Thomas making the team, no doubt about that. Very good depth there with Joe Thomas. Played for McCarthy at Green Bay. Cowboys traded for him and brought him here to the Cowboys. So I think he's on a 1-year deal, Joe Thomas. So we'll see what happens there with him. But he's definitely making this team, and he's a good depth part for that linebacker core. Now, for Bradley Anae, started a little slow. You didn't hear much about him, but now things are really picking up. The pace is picking up for the young man, and he's getting in the face of the quarterbacks, that pass rush. Okay, so that's what you want to hear. Bradley Anae doing his thing. Can't wait to see him in the blue-white scrimmage. What do you guys think about Bradley Anae? Do you guys have him making the team? I do. 5th-round draft pick. Definitely can't let this guy go. For me, he's making this roster, and he's going to be somebody that the teams are going to have to deal with. He's going to be a problem for some of these offensive lines. Okay. Speaking of offensive lines, the Eagles, they lost Andre Dillard, their up-and-coming left tackle. Unfortunate news for them, but good for us. All right, because we're going to be all over these guys. I mean, it's what it is, man. There's a lot of injuries right now, soft tissues and all kinds of issues, we're seeing around the league. got a little bit more news here on Trevon Diggs. Check this out, guys. This is pretty cool. John Machota, Cowboys cornerback Trevon Diggs nearly had a second interception in many days. He dove to break up a Dak pass to Michael Gallup. Nearly caught it. Okay. Trevon Diggs, man, he has a knack for the ball. You know, the scouting report, we covered it in the lab covering Trevon Diggs. If you missed that, go check out my In the Lab series in the playlist. Trevon Diggs, we talk about that. He has that wide receiver background. He's able to, high point the ball, and we're seeing it in practice. You're seeing it continue at the next level, and he's pulling it off, so you'd like to see that. Some teams had him projected as a first-round pick. We had him as well as he was in the conversation there for 17. I don't think any of us thought that CeeDee Lamb was going to fall to us at 17. So not many people were mocking CeeDee Lamb. It was more Caleb Chase on, Henderson, the cornerback. He didn't make it. He went early. And then Christian Fulton, he was in the mix. Grant Delpit, he was in the mix there for the Cowboys. And Trevon Diggs, but we were able to get Trevon Diggs in the second round. What a steal. This guy is coming through, man. And Alabama, if anything, they're really consistent about putting NFL-ready defenders into the NFL. They a lot of these guys have been able to step on the field day one and contribute. So I do like to hear that about Trevon Diggs. That's why, is it out of the realm of possibility that he's your day one starter? Okay, for me, I think he's outplaying these guys. And if he's outplaying them, why not? Right? Why not start Trevon Diggs out there? All right. Let's get into some CeeDee Lamb news right here. So check this out. Not really news, but it is a little bit of interesting topic here, and that is he had a kind of like a vet day already. He's still a rookie, but they're already giving him a little bit of a vet day, a little bit of rest. Cowboys rookie wide receiver CeeDee Lamb didn't do any team drills today, but while not involved, he intently watched. Okay. Photo by Vernon Bryant. So pretty interesting that he's already getting the superstar treatment. All right. Is really what I've been saying. I think he's going to be that next superstar for the Cowboys. And they're treating him as such. I wouldn't say he's getting favoritism by any means, but, he's going to be a starter, right? And a lot of these starters, we've seen the Cowboys do this for, quite a lot of time now. I don't know if this is a Will McClay thing or it's just a philosophy that the Cowboys have had here in place, but a lot of these guys, they do give them a little bit of a rest, especially these guys that they do plan on using quite often and quite early. This is bad news for the NFC East. CeeDee Lamb, he's he's gonna be. Who do you cover? What defense in this NFL has enough cornerbacks and defenders to match up with the Cowboys right now? It's a real question. So it'll be interesting to see how teams defend the Cowboys with all the weaponry that we have on offense. It's interesting. Let's see what else we have here. Okay. Conor Mcgovern, what's going on with him? You are hearing some good things about Conor Mcgovern, the governor, right? Check this out. Michael Gelkin. Left guard Conor Mcgovern has done some good things this summer, but given lack of NFL experience and the unconventional spring, it is difficult to imagine him factoring into week one lineup. Same applies to rookie Tyler Biadasz. Joe Looney sees that role from the jump. So I totally agree here with Michael Gelkin. It's kind of been the topic that we've been talking about here as well, with no preseason and really not even mini camps, but no preseason. These vets have the upper hand, and they're gonna get first dibs, first shot, right? So Conor McGovern, you are hearing good news out of Conor McGovern, but it looks like Connor Williams has that job locked up. Okay. Now, if you'll notice, Gelkin says factoring him into week one lineup. Okay. Now, the thing about Connor Williams, can he stay healthy? All right. the past couple seasons have shown that he can't stay healthy. So you got to believe that at some point, Conor McGovern will be thrusted into the lineup. This is basically like a Conor McGovern rookie season, right? He kind of got redshirted last year with the back-to-back pec injuries, but good to see him recovered and not re-injure himself. He's holding up really well, and doing his thing against these beefed up defensive tackles. He's not going up against the smaller guys that we had for the most part. Last season he's going up against some of these big behemoths there that we've really beefed up there. So you like to hear that about McGovern. Tyler Biadasz, I think that'll be a similar situation. If Joe Looney has an issue here and there, then Biadasz may get inserted into that starting lineup. But Joe Looney, man, he's really taken on a leadership role for this team. On and off the field, he's backing it up. So, he's on the short-term deal, Joe Looney. But good that we did bring him back. I'm glad that we signed him because he gives us that veteran leadership there at a very important position. All right. Now, let's close it out here with a little bit of conversation as far as Mike McCarthy versus the Garrett era and these kinds of things. I think this is a very interesting conversation. All right. Let's check this. Let's check out this note here. This comes from John Machota. All right. Cowboys cornerback Anthony Brown on the difference between Mike McCarthy and his staff and Garrett's. Okay, so what's the difference between McCarthy and Garrett? It's a totally different environment. It's kind of like a breath of fresh air. The players have a lot more leeway to say what we want to do. He gives us more opportunities to express ourselves. So this is interesting because if you remember the last few seasons, not just last season, but the one before, and you would hear things that, things were a little bit condensed. There wasn't a lot of say-so, no creativity, these kinds of things. They didn't want to hear. They didn't want to get the feedback from the players, it seemed like at times. So to hear this information here, the big difference, you heard it from Dak Prescott. Well, he said communication was the biggest difference, right? Like explaining what the play was, what your purpose of this particular play was. Everything has been explained to these guys, and I think it's really, really good. It's really refreshing that you're hearing this type of information, right? Especially from a veteran like Anthony Brown. He signed an extension, so you're starting to hear this reoccurring theme about what has been the difference, and then you get this little nugget from Jerry Jones. Kind of follows this up to finish out the conversation today, guys. All right, this really was the clincher for me, and we're talking about this comes from Jane Slater, quoting him in an interview with 105.3 The Fan. Jerry Jones tells 105.3 The Fan that on the topic of head coach Mike McCarthy, to be candid, you're talking to a coach. Okay, so basically he's saying, like, when you're talking to Mike McCarthy, this guy's the real deal, Holyfield. Okay, so I mean, you can't even. It's just clear. It's clear that there's a big difference between, a Jason Garrett versus a Mike McCarthy. The way they carry themselves. Not to throw shade on Jason Garrett. I think he had some good things to him, but he's not a Mike McCarthy, right? So when Mike McCarthy was available, this was a no brainer. Like you were talking about these other coaches that were kind of in the mix. Riley, the Ohio State coach, and a lot of these other guys that were kind of in the mix. But Mike McCarthy, Super Bowl credentials, he was available. You couldn't pass up on him. And Jerry Jones just, saying what it is. To be candid, you're talking to a coach. So pretty big statement there by Mike McCarthy, right? So very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. So guys, let me know what you guys think about today's news and nuggets, man. Let's get into some questions and comments here in the chat box. Make sure you hit like on this if you're watching this and enjoying the content and discussion. Hit like on that. It does help out the channel immensely. April showers. It will be tough. Some cuts this year. A lot of good players will be picked up. Yeah, that's where the Cowboys roster is at right now, and that's a good indication that your front office, Will McClay, and these guys are doing it right. Some of these moves, especially in free agency plus the draft, your roster is kind of is getting to that level where you're gonna lose some good players that are capable of being backups and starters on some other teams. So that's where the Cowboys roster's at. We're going to see a lot of names that get cut where you're like, oh, man, I wish we could have kept this guy. They might not even pass through waivers, so nothing is guaranteed. A lot of teams are watching what the Cowboys are doing. They know what Will McClay is about, and he has a pretty good track record around the league. So, it's not a guarantee that some of these guys are going to pass through waivers and make it back to our practice squad. So they got to figure out who they're going to keep and who they're going to put out there at risk of getting gobbled up. So good comment there, April. Appreciate you very much. And let's see what else we got here. What else we got here in the comment box? I love this. This comes from the Lunatic. CD Dangerous. C Dangerous Lamb. 8+ TDs this year. So, yeah, I think that if he gets 8 TDs this year, he's probably going to be in the mix for a Rookie of the Year. That's a lot of touchdowns for a wide receiver. I broke this down as far as what the rookie wide receivers have done for the Cowboys the last couple of seasons, especially the 88 Club. If you missed that video, go check that out. I break down what the average has been for a Drew Pearson, a Michael Irvin, Antonio Bryant, and Des Bryant, right? So I break it down, and the average is anywhere from, I think, like 3-point-something touchdowns and 500 and something yards. CeeDee Lamb is gonna crush that. I'm very confident that CeeDee Lamb is gonna put up some numbers. This guy has something to him. You can tell already. He looks like a special player. So 8 touchdowns. I wouldn't doubt it, the Lunatic. I wouldn't doubt it. All right. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Questions and comments, go ahead and submit them in here. I'm scrolling through the chat box right now. Appreciate everybody that is putting in the chat box information. Let's see. What do we got here? Just going through these guys. Great job. Got lots of comments in here. Let's see what else we got in here. We got some trolls in the chat box. Let them know what's up, everybody. It's funny when you see other fans in the Cowboys stream it. I think it's the funniest thing ever. But that's what we are. Cowboys Fan Talk. Appreciate you. Make sure you guys sub up to him. He's got great content up and coming. Cowboys Fan Talk. He just signed up his Twitter, finally. All right, bro. I'm glad to see you out there on Twitter. Make sure you give him a follow. Good guy over there. Great content. Travis Banks, who's going to be our strong safety? Okay, so you're looking at Clinton Diggs probably being, in the mix anyway. You're kind of hearing some reports that Darian Thompson is kind of outplaying him. Is Donovan Wilson in that mix? But for strong safety, I think you're looking at Xavier Woods. I think he's locked up that position. I don't see anybody under him beating him out of there. So now he is on a 1-year deal. So what I would like to see in this blue-white scrimmage is the people behind Xavier Woods, especially if they don't give him, if he doesn't get a second contract with the Cowboys, you got to look behind and see who's behind there and get a little bit of a peek, right? So, but for strong safety, Xavier Woods, Clinton Diggs, and Darian Thompson, I'm just kind of lukewarm on that idea, Darian Thompson, if you were to beat him out, I think, it's good that he beats him out, but for the long term, you got to feel that here we go again. Can we please lock down that free safety position? So great question, Tavis. I appreciate you, man. Zeppelin fan, appreciate you, man. I always see you in the chat box. Shout out to you. Thank you very much, man. Thank you very, very much. Let's see what else we got in the chat box, everybody. Appreciate everybody that has joined here. The lunatic, yeah, appreciate you. Yes, yeah. Chicago's fans still saying they did not want CD, they wanted Rager. Yeah, that's just right. I mean, they're trying to paint a rosy picture, but they lost out. They could have easily maybe have even moved over a little bit and jump frog us like they did with Dallas Goedert, right? They can have him. We got CeeDee Lamb, baby. He's gonna put up a lot more numbers than a tight end, right? I think we're fine with Blake Jarwin, but let's not get it twisted, Eagles fans. You guys want to CeeDee Lamb. There's no doubt about that. Rager, nah, he's all right. I mean, I don't see him as a big threat, man. Question: how many games will Legatron and special teams win us this year? So hopefully not many. You know, I want it to be where we're pushing the pedal to the metal, whooping that butt game in and game out. Okay, so but if you do have to rely on your kicker, you know, hopefully it's just a few games. I don't want to be in these tight games, right? We had too many of these close games under Garrett where it always came down to the final possession, the final field goal. Hopefully under McCarthy, those days are over. Not to say that we are going to have some games like that. I'm pretty sure we will have a few here and there, but not as many as with Garrett. It seemed like every week it was a struggle, you know, having to, you know, scratch and claw in each game, like he would say, and a field goal to win it. And then our kicker wasn't even that good. So I do feel good about Zerline. He's making a lot of the kicks. He's looking good in camp, all right? But a lot of these reports have been from the 40s to 45, 44-yard. You're not really seeing any reports of him missing or making 50-yarders, okay? So we'll keep an eye on that. Now, for our sake, let's hope this offense is so prolific that we're not having to make a lot of field goals from the 50s. All right. I think that's why Dan Bailey was such a strong he was so good for us because he would nail those 50-yard field goals, right? And that was just I mean, no, it was just too many long field goals, man. Boys for life, appreciate you. Thanks for joining the chat. Appreciate you. April Showers. Will the Cowboys use a fullback or convert at tight end? I think it'll be a mix of the two. You'll see Shea Woe as a fullback, and you'll see like a halfback type of feature, kind of like a tight end. Like you might see Dalton Schultz back there. Blake Bell, I could definitely see him being back there, the Belldozer. So I won't be surprised if you see, you know, Blake Bell lined up back there as a halfback, fullback type of guy, as a blocker. You know, somebody that you can hit in the flank. He can catch the ball. Short yardage situations, Blake Bell, I think he's really good. Dalton Schultz can get it done as well. So it'll be good. But fullback, you know, Mike McCarthy has used the fullback before coming out of the backfield. You know, a lot of these teams, if a fullback's coming out the backfield, there's not much priority on them. Mike McCarthy was able to hurt offenses with some fullbacks over his career. John Kuhn. One that really stands out to me is somebody that the Packers used at fullback, and he would score some sneaky touchdowns on players on defenses because they weren't paying attention to the fullback. Like, that's a fullback. He's not going to do anything, and he would hurt you with them. So I would expect that they're going to use these guys in all sorts of situations. I can't wait. It's going to be really, really fun. With this messed up offseason, always pick up another squad after the cuts. Yeah, definitely. You know, we always see that the roster remains fluid. You know, you see the 53-man roster, and some people automatically, okay, this is who we have. And then a day or two later, here's a cut, here's a new guy. So it'll definitely happen. So anybody that does make this team, especially some players that are on the very edge, you know, like your 52nd and 53rd person, they're still going to have to be nervous because they're going to keep an eye on that waiver wire. Will McClay has a list of players already. I'm sure he's talked about that, which is really good. He's always prepared for these names that may come across the waiver wire. April Showers, appreciate you, April. You're awesome. Thank you for the donation. Hit that like button, yes sir. The lunatic, yes. Monty. I know you said you were good either way on Earl Thomas, but aside from the reasons we are hearing, do you think he's missing piece for the Super Bowl run? Yeah, besides those reasons, and I've always been a big advocate of if you can get better, never settle. And that still remains the same for me for Earl Thomas. But I'm going to go with this staff and Rob Davis is really why, he was brought into this. I like to say that I talked about this with Steel Skywalker, that Rob Davis is this guy that has really been brought in here to make sure that the locker room relationship and the front office has a good pH balance and that the locker room has a good pH balance, right? Because you gotta have a good locker room, a strong locker room to make that push. You don't want any distractions. And I kind of feel that maybe that's where the Cowboys are falling on this, so we'll see what happens there. We'll see. And I'm actually kind of surprised that nobody has actually signed him yet. So that's kind of a sign in itself, right? Not just the Cowboys, but other teams are kind of like, nah, I don't know. Is this an Antonio Bryant situation? What's going on here? So, you kind of have to look at it that way too. Other teams are kind of like, kind of on the fence, obviously. Otherwise, he would have been snatched up. You know what I mean? So, we'll keep an eye on it. Let's see what else you got here. I'd start Diggs week 1. Cowboys face. Yeah, this is the conversation that I'm really kind of, thinking as well. Is if he's the guy that's really making a lot of plays out there and looking the part, why not? Why not start him? I'm all for it right now, man. I would say earlier in training camp, it was a little quiet. You weren't hearing too much, but I think he's really gotten his feet under him. And now you're hearing a lot of positive things, and you're seeing it. You're seeing the clips of him highballing the pass, breaking up passes, interceptions, bullying people like a Michael Gallup of all people. You would never think that, but he does have good size to him. An absolute steal. We'll see how he carries it into the season, but right now you got to feel confident about it. You gotta feel confident about it. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, great question by the lunatic for sure, man. He always comes in the clutch. Very loyal subscriber. Appreciate you, the lunatic. Ted Gonzalez. I don't think we do a whole lot of pickups after cuts with having to clear COVID. That's a whole week. Yeah, that's a good point. Now, they did open up where you can, bring in players to work out and this kinds of things. So, we'll see how that comes into play. Obviously, the Ravens, they brought in Des Bryant for workout, and a contract didn't come from that. But, there are players around the league that are able to come in now. I mean, Everson Griffin came in. They got to look at him. They made the signing relatively quick. So, I'm pretty sure the Cowboys have a list of players that they feel good about bringing in here, assuming that they don't have any major medicals associated with them as far as why they were released, right? If you hear a name that looks familiar and they've been released, you really gotta dig a little deeper to see why. I'm always one of these people that's like, why are you cutting those guys? So we'll see. Crypto Keeper. I love the name, Crypto Keeper. I hear Bradley and I is killing it. Do you think he gets in the defensive end rotation? Yes, absolutely. DPR, they mentioned this during the Senior Bowl. Designated pass rushers, they were looking for them. Little did we know, they had their eye on Bradley and I there at the Senior Bowl. He showed out at the Senior Bowl. He had a hell of a game. Showed up in practice, showed up in the game. Cowboys got him there at the very end of the 5th round. And it's a big reason why that Utah defense was so good. They were so stout. Lakey Fotu at your nose defensive tackle. Francis Bernard, the undrafted linebacker, we got him. And Bradley and I mean, hell of a haul for the Cowboys. electric, vicious players, man. These guys play with bad intentions. They hit you and they're gonna slam you to the ground. Okay. There's no love here. They're gonna hurt you. So I like that, man. I feel like the Cowboys they're gonna play nasty defense. They're gonna hit you and they're gonna make you remember that hit, So I like that, man. I'm very pumped about where the defense is sitting right now versus 2019, 2018. The defense has really gone through a really quick transition, and I think you're seeing Mike McCarthy's thumbprint all over this team, up and down the roster. He wants a certain kind of defense. He wants certain types of people in the middle. They wanted to get beefier. We heard that in the Senior Bowl, from Will McClay. So, they got their guys in free agency, Don Terry Poe, Gerald McCoy. And I don't think the work stops there. Tristan Hill looks like he's going to be good, but we got to see him carry that into the season. I'll be watching him in the blue-white scrimmage. That's going to be fun. Neville Gallimore. But, these guys are on short-term deals, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys keep adding to this defensive line and just keep getting it nastier and nastier. You know what I mean? You got to have it. You got to have a good defense. All right, everybody. Awesome. What else we got in here? Todd McGowan, appreciate you, man. Ted Gonzalez, appreciate you. Mike Lozier. It will be nice to see Dak not have a start from the 10-yard line this year. Yes. Can we please get out of the 10-yard? I think special teams will be a huge asset this year with Fossil at the helm. Yes. Great comment, Mike. So, yeah, the dead last in the league 2019, the special teams, you can only go up from there, and I think they'll go up, but even more up, so I think fielding the ball was always an issue. It always seemed like whoever was fielding the ball was unsure of the blockers in front of them, very gun shy, whether they were going to field the ball or let it go over the head, whether it was Beasley, whoever we had back there, it just seemed like they were afraid to return the ball. And I think a part of it was they didn't have blocks in front of them. So hopefully they're shoring up the blocking in the return game. Tackling was a big issue. Not only were we starting in the 10-yard line, we were letting opposing teams, it seemed like they were starting on the 35-yard line, 40-yard line, and sometimes like really short fields, and you got to win in all three phases of the game, right? I know it's something that Garrett talks about, but that it really is true. You got to win in all three phases. Cowboys under Garrett, it would seem like they would only win under one phase of the game. One year it would be an awesome offense. The next year, defense outplayed the offense, but special teams was always the worst of the three. So I think Mike McCarthy's first areas that he wanted to fix was special teams, and you're starting to see it there. They're just playing a lot different, and you hear Anthony Brown talk about breathing fresh air, and I think that's what this team needed. They needed to get a new coach in here and really change the culture. Great comment there, Mike. Appreciate you. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah. I wish we had drafted a good safety in 2019. Yeah, safety has been one that we always want to draft, right? So whether it was Thornhill over Tristan Hill, that'll still be a conversation. But, if Tristan Hill can keep on doing what he's doing right now and carry that into the season, I think we'll feel better about passing on a Thornhill and going with Tristan. But we'll see. The season is about, what are we, about 2 weeks away? And we're almost there, man. I can't wait. So the cuts are coming quick. So we have the blue-white scrimmage on Sunday. And then you have this final week is the last week. Your cuts have to come in September 5th. And then waivers and finalizing the roster, that's on the 6th. All right, September 6th. So the blue-white scrimmage is going to be is equivalent to your final preseason game for these Cowboys. They're going to have a few more practices. But as far as being competitive, going up against another squad, 11 on 11, for a good period of time, It's going to be now or never for some of these guys. Okay, so and then after that, the rest of the week, you're going to have some walkthroughs, some final practices. Your final padded practice is going to come up here next week as well. So, and then you're probably going to see some vets start to rest up here towards the end of the week. You'll probably see more vet days next week. I wouldn't be surprised if you do see that in preparation for week 1 versus the Rams, everybody. So we're right around the corner, and it all starts with the scrimmage. So I'm pumped about it, everybody. I'm very pumped about it. Very good. The Lunatic, appreciate you. Crypto Keeper. Yeah, 2 weeks seems like a long time, but man, it'll be here quicker than ever. And this season will fly by just as quick. This whole year, 2020, to me, has been a blur. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's because of the whole COVID and this and that, but man, I can't believe we're already coming up on September. It seems like we just got over New Year's Eve just a few weeks ago, and here we are. Fast forward, we're finally here, man. So I love it, man. But that's all I have right now, guys. Make sure you come back here Saturday. I'm kind of aiming towards an afternoon release, maybe in the evening if it gets a little busy here. I do have a 2-round mock draft 2021. 2 great prospects for you guys to get familiar with that could be in the Cowboys, mark. So we'll break it down tomorrow. It's going to be fun. It's a fully produced video. It's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you hit like on this video on your way out. But that's all I have right now for you guys. I appreciate everybody that joined us in the live chat. If you're catching this on the replay, hit like on this video. Continue to like, subscribe, and share, everybody. I'll catch all you for the next one. Peace, everybody.